And you ever have that flutter of doubt in your belly going, God, I'm either talking above their heads, or they're bored, silly, and they're meditating, or maybe it's just so bad they're being polite. Hey, well, when I was teaching presentation power at the University of British Columbia, I used to teach it in executive education. I did an informal survey with a bunch of students. And that is I asked them what they thought about speakers that they didn't know, or a subject that they didn't know about. And I got back a series of answers that I've tested since, and it breaks down this way. See, about 30% or so of an audience admire you because you're up there speaking. They are in awe. They're the group that is terrified of public speaking. And unfortunately, there's a lot of people that have the wrong idea about it. The second group is also about 30% or so. They are so intent on getting the answer that when they're looking at you and they're in listening mode, their face is blank. They're trying to capture what you're saying. Now, whether you're saying it good or bad, that's different. They're trying to interpret. They want to know what you know. There's about 30% of an audience, give or take a bit, that just isn't there. They're there, meaning in their seat, but they ain't there listening to you. You might have said something in the opening remark that so hit them, they went, oh my God, and they are now thinking about what you said. Are they listening? No. And when people are thinking, their faces are blank. They have what I call the listening thinking face. They're just blank. And well, they might not look as bad as me, but they're blank. Now, I was actually giving a training session down in Vancouver, because that's where I live, for the Vancouver Board of Trade and the Tourism Vancouver. And we were in a room that had glass walls on the side, because it's beautiful in Vancouver. But the side of the room, on the side where the audience was looking at me, was all the parking meters. And I'm well into my presentation, really ripping along, and all of a sudden, out the side of comes, oh my God, my car! And I go, what? Well, the guy wasn't looking at me, and he wasn't listening to me. They were towing his car, because he could see on the street that they were towing his car. So you see, they might have received a text message while they're sitting there. And do people text when you're speaking? Sure they do. Do they read text when they're speaking? Yep, they even write it. Hey, they might even be doing it as you're listening to this. But the point is that let's say they get a text. Darling, this is the last text message to you. Bye-bye for now. I'm zeroing our relationship. Yeah, are they going to listen to you? No. Well, they might even be in panic. This is your boss. Come back to the office. We're shutting down. Ugh. You never know what's going on in the mind of an audience. In one particular time when I was leading an advanced workshop, there was a gentleman who arrived, and we knew he'd made the trek from Prince George. He flew down. He was sitting in there, and he was doing this all the time. He was crunched over. He looked angry. It was quite dramatic. So on the first break, I went up to him and I said, are you okay? I mean, have I offended you? I wanted to know what was going on. He said, oh, Geoffrey, he said, I got up early this morning. There was ice in the driveway. I slipped and I caught my ribs on the edge of the door of the car. He said, I think I might have cracked a rib. He said, but I don't want to leave. I don't want to leave. You got any painkillers? Well, actually, he did have to leave. And he had 2 cracked ribs. Anyway, he came to another summer. So you never know. But I must tell you that about 10% of every audience, 10%, is a critic. They are watching for the mistakes that you make. They'll watch and read your PowerPoint presentation to see the spelling mistake. They'll judge your grammar. They'll look at the way you're dressed. They'll see that your shoes are clean or not clean. They will look at you. They will notice. Now, critics can't help it. They don't. Now, what I mean by that is that my best evaluator is a critic. I have him look at my presentations because they're great. He sees mistakes. Is it malefic or malevolent or angry? No, they're natural-born critics. But really, so there you have it. 30% just admire you. 30% want the information that you've got. 30% are too distracted, but they're in their seat. They might even be stunned, and 10% is a critic. So when you get up and you look at the faces of your audience, don't judge them. You might want to be, look at your humor content or such, but I don't know. Don't overly get tied up with it. Be yourself and people will respond to you. Always show up. Now, the learning key from this is, hey, test your material before you go on a real audience. Have a critic look at it and see what it looks like. And then you'll have a better idea. Hey, always be yourself. Always show up. Bye, Jeffrey.